Almost every one of us believes that we're living in the real world, but what if I told you that this is totally an illusion? Even your mind, your body, and all the people around you. This looks like a question that you might hear in science fiction movies, but this has become a serious academic debate. Stay tuned till the end of the video. You will not want to miss this one. You might have seen science fiction movies, and most probably a blockbuster movie, The Matrix. But in reality, most scientists believe that there is the possibility that we live in a simulation, and if it is true, it means that the cosmos, the scientists are noticing, is just a small part of the entirety of physical being. Now, you might have a question in mind about who started the debate about the simulation. Actually, everything started from the 2003 paper written by the philosopher Nick Bostrom, and it became famous as the simulation hypothesis. Nick gave some blunt logic, like if there are more technologically advanced civilizations in the world and if they run the computer simulation, there must be a massive number of imitating realities, complete with AI dwellers who may not know that they are not living in reality, but in fact, they are living inside the game, just like us. These beings might believe that they are real, but they have no physical existence. If we are successful in finding evidence that computer-loving aliens actually exist in the universe, this would mean that we are definitely living in a computer simulation. We think that the world we're living in is real, but it's not situated at the ultimate level of reality. Rizwan Virk, who is the author of the simulation hypothesis, also believes that we are living in a simulation. He remembers that when he used to play VR games, these were so realistic that he forgot that he was actually in an empty room. If you've not played VR games, you might have definitely seen the videos of people on YouTube playing those games, and they get so much involved in them that they completely forget about the real world. The same thing happened with Rizwan, and that led him to think that are we sure that we are not entrenched within a world shaped by beings more technologically shrewd than ourselves? This question made sense to Rich Terrell, a computer scientist at NASA. He said that we are in a generation of being those gods who create those universes. During a debate back in 2016 at the American Museum, the Harvard physicist said that the odds of simulation are effectively none. A computer scientist at Texas University, Scott Aronson, said that if there were any viruses or flaws in the program that are running the universe, just like what we've seen in the blockbuster movie The Matrix, these could have noticeable effects, like evidence of God looking in the thundercloud. Yes, it's true that not everyone is convinced yet. Now many scientists are finding ways to test this hypothesis, and Bostrom wants to see developments in his idea. However, according to some scholars, like Sylvester James Gates, including the University of Maryland, the resemblances between the simulation hypothesis and the spiritual beliefs should be considered as a warning sign for us that we are going off track. He further said in a recent interview that there was an idea that we are puppets controlled by an unseen entity, but scientists have taken us away from this idea. The simulation hypothesis also looks like a religion in the beginning, like the programmer is controlling everything just like God. Now, what is the godlike entity that has created the simulated universe? The believers of the simulation hypothesis say that they are aliens. Even this possibility is more overwhelming than our descendants. This means that people living hundreds or thousands of years in the future might find ways to simulate not just the world around them, but also their bodies and minds. Bostrom said that we don't have the technology so far to pull it off, and if we create a detailed and accurate brain simulation, it will generate conscious experiences. There are 7 questionable reasons behind why people may be convinced we're living in a simulation. For one, paranormal activities are glitches in the simulation. It makes more sense that the hauntings are not a paranormal event, but they might be a glitch in the simulation, and this discussion is gaining much popularity on Reddit forums. A traveler sees the word render in the sky like he's getting into the new mode of the game. Another one is the weird news. You might have remembered the unlikelihood of US elections when Donald Trump shocked the world by winning the elections. This could mean that we are in a malfunctioning simulation, or whoever has control in their hands. And if you still don't believe it, just remind the mix-up of this 2017 Oscars envelop and the 25 Super Bowl comeback. Third reason, our universe has rules. MIT cosmologist has said that the physical laws of our universe, like the speed of light, also give us evidence that we are in a matrix. He further said that if he was in a video game, he would discover that those rules looked stiff and mathematical. Fourth, video games have become so realistic. If we talk about a few decades back, you might have played Pong or Super Mario. But if we talk about today's world, the video games are so realistic, and no one can deny the fact that we get the same feelings and emotions in the simulation that we get in the real world. We now have photorealistic 3D, and not just thousands, but millions of people from all over the world are playing them simultaneously. Imagine if we still make some improvements in these games. It would be very difficult to distinguish them from reality, and even if the rate of improvement declines up to thousands from what it is today, it's still clear that we are on the way to making these games almost the same as reality. Missing aliens. We've mostly seen aliens in the movies, but as technology is becoming more advanced, scientists have become more curious about whether the aliens actually exist somewhere in the universe or not. But still, we've not gotten any evidence of their existence so far. Even scientists have spent big chunks of money just to get evidence of their existence. But the reality is that they would likely be ahead of us in terms of technological advancement. Maybe they've figured out how to escape from us. This also proves that we are in a simulation. There's still no proof that we are in a simulation. As the NYU theorist claims that there is no possibility of proving that we are not in a matrix, even if some find the proofs, because who would prove that the evidence that we have found is real? Maybe it could be simulated. Lastly, we're getting better at making simulations. We are now making much more realistic simulations, and no one would be flabbergasted if we could choose to use it in the future. Back in 2014, the HSC linked almost 8,000 computers to make a 350 million light-year simulation of the universe and digitally aged it more than 13 billion years. The franchise of the video game, known as The Sims, sold more than 125 million copies just in 10 years. This gives us solid proof that we are much interested in playing the simulation. What Elon Musk thinks about living in a simulation. You might be flabbergasted to know that even Elon Musk also believes that the simulation hypothesis is correct, because he said during an interview that people are likely in a simulation. He further said that video games have become so realistic that if we make some improvements in them, it would be very hard to differentiate them from the real world. What are your thoughts about the simulation hypothesis? Share it with the community below. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.